For today's episode of Robinsonlander, I've parked here in the wilderness. I'm going to hike up this ridge line over here and see if I can build my own bushcraft shelter. I have everything I need in this 72-hour bag, and I have my firearm on me here. I'm going to be using only everything I have on my person here to set up my bushcraft shelter for the night. Looking forward to bringing you guys along with me. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Ben here with Robinson Reconnaissance. I hope you guys are doing well. For the first couple episodes of Robinsonlander, I did some overnight car camping and overlanding in my Jeep. For this third episode of Robinsonlander, I'm going to be hiking up this ridge into the wilderness up here. I'm going to set up my own bushcraft camp and build my own bushcraft shelter using only what I have on my person here. I have my firearm here. I have my 72-hour get home bag here. I'm going to be using only the contents of everything you see on me here to set up camp. It's the middle of October right now, and I think tonight the low is supposed to get down to the mid-30s. So I need to get set up, make sure I'm warm enough, get camp set up before it gets dark here. So let's get going. I'll bring you with me here, and we'll find a spot to set up camp, get situated. Let's go. I'm hoping there's a lot of fallen timber in here that I can use as a bushcraft shelter. I hiked in from up there. I parked up there about a mile up maybe, and I'm up on this ridge line here. I think I'm gonna try and find a place in these trees to build a bushcraft shelter. Right here's another little area. There's a bunch of big rocks. But I like this. I like these trees, just add a little shelter. A little protection from the wind, I think, too, for fire. Somewhere in here, end of October. Some beautiful aspens. A couple of the last ones hanging on here. Here's that first area. There's a bunch of rocks, big boulders in there. Probably not the safest, just because there's a ton of boulders up above here. Straight up there is a bunch of boulders. So yeah, I think my best bet is somewhere in these aspens here. I came from that ridge right there, so I hiked in from that top of that ridge down, and then here's the path I just came down from this ridge line, came up this ridge line here, and this is where I think my bushcraft shelter is going to be, on the side of this hill. It's a giant uprooted tree. That could be the first place I'd consider. I don't know, what would you guys do? Would you guys put one here? You could maybe build something almost of a lean-to. Use this little root system kind of as a lean-to or something. The only issue is it's not super flat right here. You'd have to go maybe on the other side of this. The other side of this. So that would be an option. Right there. Create like a little lean-to with some sticks going to the right off the top of that. But you're on a kind of a crazy hill right here. It's not very flat. Or here's another option. There's these trees right here that have been struck by lightning. These two. And what I could probably do, it's fairly flat right here. Like everywhere around here is steep, except for this little area right there. So what I could do is maybe get some dirt and flatten that area out right here, and then start making a lean-to. Bushcraft shelter with some sticks. So here's that area from the other side. Those lightning struck trees, they're in there pretty good still. That right there would be the area where I put the bed, and then build some sort of lean-to here off of this branch here that also connects to a couple of these other aspens around here. I don't know, what would you guys do? Would you put one here, or would you go use that other tree, the other root system, to build kind of a lean-to there? So here's what I'm thinking. I set up my sleeping bag right here, and then I have some sticks coming down here from both sides, and then I could also build a lean-to with sticks coming down here, connected to maybe something over here, maybe a little lower, so a lean-to like that. Alright, so here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to use this tree and this rock as the lower side. I'm going to pull a bunch of this dirt down, flatten this out here, so my sleeping bag will go here, and then I'm going to lay a bunch of sticks across these branches here and make a bushcraft shelter that way. And then I think I'll have my fire maybe on this side, just because it's a little protected from the wind. Let's get to it. This stick to kind of comb the ground here, get this a little flatter, shovel some dirt into this area here. And the more dirt I take from this side, the better this gets over here on this side. I'll just kind of like pack this in here. was able to kind of flatten this area out right here. That's where I'm going to lay. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some branches on the right side that I can start leaning against this as kind of a lean-to. And I brought my get home bag, so I have everything that was in my get home bag video. So if you guys go to my channel, you'll see the whole video on my get home bag where I go over the contents of this bag and everything that I have in here for a survival or 72-hour situation. This Boreal 21 saw is really cool. It just pops together. So that goes like that. And then this side of it just pops out. There's your blade. That just swings around. And there's a little notch right there. This little plastic notch. It connects to here. And then you just push this. You just push this into place. And it snaps into place. Now I have a saw. I had to add a silky saw to the pack here. Just gives me another option on top of the saw to be able to use. It's a beautiful day out for the end of October, and it's about 4:30 right now, so I'm trying to hustle to get this done here before the sun goes down behind these mountains. So really I have probably an hour and a half, about an hour maybe of light here, of full light. That's not going anywhere right there. So that'll be kind of my main base. So I'll just keep adding them to this. So there's where my shelter is going to go. There's a bunch of these little sticks and stuff here. I guess I could use as many of these as possible here. There's a bunch of bigger sticks and stuff over here. I have to use some of these, like this one here. Bunch more over there. Here's the progress so far. Starting to get all the branches across. Be laying right in there. So, got a little more to go. These trees are just beautiful. Still a little bit of light left. Here's where I'm at. Been doing this for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna be sleeping under there. I need a lot more. I need a lot more sticks. I'm trying to take down as many of these dead aspens as possible. So these just come right out usually. So there's one. Here's another. There's two. There's a couple little guys. so much wood in here. Here's a view of the shelter from the top. I found a bunch of these dead, dried out Japanese maple branches. These are really good. I mean, there's no bark on them, and I can use these to make my roof. So I'm gonna use these right now. Start picking these up and putting them over there. Here's where I'm at. Just laying a bunch of sticks across to make a lean-to, and underneath is where I'll be sleeping. And then I'm gonna get some greenery and cover it up. Now, I'm gonna take some of these lower limbs to lay across. Also, the way the boughs are shaped is they're concave, so they lay on there really good and provide some loft, and they round out the look of the shelter. Here's what I got so far. That's covered with boughs. Here's a look at the shelter from above. Blends in pretty well too. So this is the side with my head. The back side. Here's a look from the top. And that's the entrance there. That's home for the night. Now I'm going to get my bed set up. Here's the setup. So I got the sleeping bag set up. My get home bag. Stuff I use to cook. That's the inside. I'll give you a quick outside whirl here. That's what it looks like with the lights on. That's that side. That's that side. That's what she looks like from the back. Can't really see the light almost. Those are all the boughs. This is the back side where my head is. My head's like down there. And then this is the other side. So yeah, my head's like right here. That's that tree. See if you can see. That's what it looks like from the outside with the lights on in there. And this side, next time I'll probably get some more boughs and continue to finish. But there you can see that's where my head is right there. And probably get a couple more sticks to fill in this gap here. I was in kind of a little bit of a hurry because it was just getting dark and I was kind of running out of daylight. But what can you do? I'm inside my shelter. I think I'm going to make some dinner next. Here's a quick look. Here's one of the walls. And there's a wall behind me as well. There's the roof. I got a little light set up over here. Back. That's all covered back there. And another light up there. That's all covered. I think I'm just gonna make dinner with a little jet boil. All right, tonight's dinner on the jet boil is the spicy Southwest style skillet. This spicy Southwest style skillet, it's got potatoes, shredded beef, black beans, green chilies, and vegetables. And then I'm gonna add some cheese. I got some chopped up onion that I chopped up at home. And then I got some chopped up lettuce I chopped up at home. I'll probably just shred a couple of these flour tortillas, or I can make some tacos with these. And yeah, I'm in the fort right now. I got a light right there, a light right there. I'm going with the jet boil, so I have the water in here. Gonna fill this puppy up. And here's the jet boil. So we'll see how this goes. Pour some water into the jet boil. This is just a Yeti water bottle I have, an old Yeti. Get the gas going here. Through this puppy on here. I'll let this boil. Just gonna set this down off to the side here. And we'll just pour it in there. One and a half cups of water. Give it a little stir. Got my cheese chopped up in there. Now I'm gonna add my onion. Give it another little stir. Now I'm gonna let this sit for 5 minutes, and then I'll give it another stir, wait another 5 minutes, and be good to go. We're done cooking 10 minutes later. And then I'm gonna take my lettuce. Sprinkle some inside. Gonna make a taco. And here's the taco. Gonna fold her up. One bite, everybody knows the rules. It's pretty good. Not too bad for MRE. And I just spilled taco juice all over me. So I think I'm just gonna start ripping these and just tossing them in there. Make like some strips. Pretty messy. Here's the after. Not too bad with some tortilla strips. Mexican skillet. Success. Not bad. Hopefully I don't attract the critters. I got taco juice all over me. Well, I finished dinner, and hopefully I don't attract too many critters because I got the taco juice all over. Tried to clean it up as good as I could. And now I'm just going to have a water. I don't know. This is Waterloo Lemon Lime Sparkling Water. Sparkling water, what's up? Now that dinner's done, I think I'm going to get ready for bed. Get my bedding all set here. My sleeping bag, I'll show you that. And I brought a book too. I'm going to give that a little read. All right, I got my sleeping bag set up here. I think I'm going to head to bed. Hopefully I sleep well here and it's a non-eventful night. So yeah, wish me luck, and we'll talk to you in the morning. Good morning. I slept pretty well. Sun's coming up now. Yeah, it was a pretty uneventful night. I woke up at about 3:30 in the morning, and I was pretty hot. This sleeping bag's pretty warm. That was the only time I really woke up. Aside from that, I slept through the night, and was pretty comfortable. Yeah, I think I'm going to get up and make some breakfast and go from there. Morning. I slept pretty well. Woke up around 3:30 in the morning. Was about 35, 36 degrees last night was the low. I woke up at 3:30 and I was hot. That sleeping bag I think is a little warm, but other than that, no uninterrupted sleep, no unwanted visitors or anything like that. So it was a good night. I think I'm gonna make some breakfast and then I'll give you another quick walk around here of what we got going on in here. Sun's coming up right now. I'll give you a quick walk around of the Bushcraft Shelter again now that it's light out. Here's another look at my setup here. Sleeping bag, get home bag, camera gear. I had this sleeping pad under here, really thin, inflatable sleeping pad, and then I laid down this blanket just right below. And got my silky saw, my axe. Light book, jet boil. That's my lightweight chair, Helinox. Another light. There's kind of my little stepping stone to get in. Surrounded by aspens. If you can see, this is kind of the slope of the hill right there. So it's pretty steep. think next time when I come to work on this, I'm going to put some more boughs right there, fill that in, fill in some of these other areas that are a little thin. Luckily it didn't rain last night, so I didn't have to worry about that. It's really super clear. Look at that blue sky. But this will be an ongoing project. We just have to keep adding and strengthening. This is the bottom. This is the back side. This is where my head was. And that big tree right there is the main tree that I use. That's the lightning tree. Kind of use that as a brace. Didn't really need to cut a whole bunch, honestly. Just there were a lot of dead aspen trees, which I was able to just shake loose and push down, and then I could use those. And that's what a lot of these are right there, the longer ones. And there you can see my sleeping bag right there. Here's another view. That's where my head was. Main camera. That's the bottom side. This was kind of cool. It was like a built-in step, so you can just use these rocks as a step, climb in and walk inside. The end of October and the aspens are still popping. These ones are just about peak. And the big tree right there is the lightning strike tree, so that's a dead tree, but it's in there. It's a beefy tree. Camera gear and luckily though, I didn't have to cut down too many trees. I was able to use a lot of dead aspen trees, so I could just knock them loose, push them over, and they're already dead, so they're pretty long. So those are some of the ones you can see there just poking out. But luckily, those made for a good foundation, good main support beams for the shelter. This area here is where it could still be improved upon, I think. Just by adding some more to it, like right there, adding more boughs, adding more branches. But I had 2 lights on in there last night, and I couldn't really see the light in there, which was good, so it kind of hid me, kept me from out of view, and you couldn't really tell that there were any lights on inside of it. There's that lightning tree, was the main tree. And then these aspens are kind of weaved in, these live aspens. Like this one here, coming right out of the shelter. Just flew over. It's a beautiful morning, just so peaceful. I'm glad I did this. It's just kind of a last minute spur of the moment thing, but coffee's ready now. Give you a look at that. Oh yeah, that's some good coffee right there. Oh yeah. It's really nice to get an overnight trip in. I just feel like I've been kind of putting this off and meaning to come out here, get out, unplug in nature, and what a perfect backdrop. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better backdrop with the aspen trees. The leaves are still hanging on. They're gold, bright gold. And you combine that with the green of the evergreen trees, and it's just a beautiful canvas that nature created here. I've been reading this book. It's called Poison, Sermons on Suffering. It's by Mark Twight, and he owns the publishing company called Nonprofit. And basically from 2011 to early 2016, he wrote a weekly sermon that was posted behind the paywall of his website. All these sermons or essays, they draw upon personal experience from Mark Twight. And there's some really thought-provoking essays in here about everything from workouts to the mind to suffering and being able to overcome, whether it's working out or in life, and persevering. I'll read a quick little paragraph that stuck out to me last night. It's about making choices. So this is an essay or a sermon that he wrote about making choices. He says, "The hardest thing to do in life is one thing at a time, whether in the moment or across the entirety of life. Most people don't focus, can't or won't. Perhaps unwilling to risk missing an experience, they do many things simultaneously. Energy is finite though, and more activities or ideas one spends it upon, the less is available for each area of interest. I can't decide what I should do. My desire conflicts with others' expectations. Ego keeps me from risking failure. I dabble, so I'm never invested. I've seen it over and over through my life. Climbers who didn't focus, so never fulfilled potential. Athletes who couldn't decide which sport to play, so never learned to play one well. People who could not accept that their temperament and somatype were ill-suited to the activity chosen for them by parents, by expectations, peer pressure, or a misguided lifelong dream. Some simply go looking for an activity that makes them happy, but happiness is fickle, so they flit from one activity to the next, dipping a toe in, maybe wading in to the knees, never seeing or seeking depth, and never grasping that it is the process of mastering something, one thing, that grants access to deeper, universal understanding." And he goes on to write, "If you do not choose what to do and chase it like your life depends on it, the choice will be made for you. In that case, sit back and enjoy the ride, but keep your fucking complaints to yourself." So that's just one example of a sermon or an essay that he wrote on his website, and he basically took all those essays and threw them in this book. You might ask yourself about the title of the book, Poison. He explains it and why he called it poison. He says, "Poison means a specific thing to one whose lover was exposed to a lethal dose of a toxin. It means something entirely different to the individual who uses careful, measured exposure to a poisonous substance to stimulate a psychedelic or hallucinogenic condition with the intent to experience and learn. This is a question of intensity and dosage. Exercise can improve health when the dose is matched to the individual and his or her environment, but it may be destructive or fatal when overdosed. In this context, I do not differentiate between substances, exercise, and ideas. The correct dose may be therapeutic and the incorrect prescription may kill you. The outcome is always contingent upon dose, frequency, dwell time, and the condition of the recipient to whom the poison is administered. People have died for and because of ideas which are no less potent than cyanide given rich or fecund conditions." And the back of the book, it says, 141 sermons previously accessible only behind the paywall of an old website. These philosophical musings are guaranteed to motivate, admonish, inspire, and critique, all linked by the inseverable bond between the physical and the psychological, the mind and the heart. So yeah, this first essay that I read, it got me thinking about specialty and just one's ability to pursue many things without really focusing on one thing, and not being all in, quote unquote, all in on one thing, which makes you suffer at the end of the day, because you're so sporadic, you're all over the place. Your abilities and your talents, they're just not focused to one thing, and you got to really buckle down and find out what's important to you. Here's a quick overview of Mark Twight, about the author. Mark Twight was born in Yosemite, raised in Mount Rainier National Park in Seattle. Mark Twight grew up in nature, while his father, a federal law enforcement officer and park ranger, instilled a rebellious spirit. The mountains fed a hunger for risk and accountability, leading to his career as a professional mountain climber. During those years, he made the first ascents in the French Alps, Canadian Rockies, Alaska, and the Pamirs, and Himalaya, and tested the limits of endurance by climbing the Slovak route on Denali in a 60-hour non-stop push. He retired from climbing in 2000. Following that career, Twight trained various Department of Defense assets, did hardware and soft goods R&D, including the Protective Combat Uniform, PCU, clothing system, which was fielded in 2004. From 2005 to 2017, Mark designed and executed physical conditioning for the movies 300, Man of Steel, 300, Rise of an Empire, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman, Justice League, and Aquaman. Mark is the author of Extreme Alpinism, 1999, Kiss or Kill, 2001, and Refuge, 2019. His writing has been published in 7 countries and 5 languages. A list of accomplishments may read well, but such monuments can turn a man to stone along with them. Instead, Dwight suggests that we live and love now, seek with heart, feel, grow, and change, because you aren't going to live forever. Back to the topic of focusing on one thing and getting really good at one thing and specializing in one thing. Mark says, I teach ice climbing. I tell students the hardest thing to do is one thing at a time, but ears are deaf and the brain bombarded, so with a palsy-like start, stop, stutter, the student scatters attention everywhere at once. He removes an ice tool and then decides it would be better to move a foot, but simultaneously figures he should look ahead to see where to move, and suddenly one of the remaining 2 points of contact blows and the rope does its part. Hanging on it, the student wonders what happened, as if she hadn't been present, which is practically speaking the case, so overwhelmed by sensory input and the demand for decision, action, a temporary autism results. So I don't know, it's just a very thought-provoking book. Packed up all my bedding. This is where I laid right here. It's pretty flat. This is basically with nothing in there. Completely emptied out. It's a beautiful day now. The sun's coming up. And I gotta get out of here. Gotta head home. Hopefully I can dial this bushcraft shelter in and add more over time to improve it, more boughs, and make it more sealed. I'll periodically keep checking back just to continue to improve this shelter. Yeah. Hiked up this ridge right here at the very bottom, hiked all the way up. Right to there. Appreciate you guys watching and following along to @Robinson Reconnaissance on YouTube. This has been episode 3 of Robinsonlander, focused on my bushcraft shelter build here. And hopefully in the near future, I'll get some more overnight camping trips on the books for the late fall, end of October, early November. And then I'll also be doing some winter camping coming up here soon. I appreciate you guys following along to the channel as it slowly continues to grow here. I think I'm up to about 500 followers now, so really appreciate it. I'm really humbled by you guys following along. Until next time, I'll continue broadcasting from way out here. Peace out.